I know we've all done it, and we're all going to do it again. We're going to make something we're really proud of, and then we're going to want to make another one. But we aren't going to remember how much material did we use. Was it 3/8 or was it 1/2 inch? Did I cut 6 inches before I did the weld, or did I cut 5 inches before I did the weld? How much did I leave for this loop to make the end of the poker? If you don't write it down, you're not going to remember. It's a good idea to keep a notebook in the shop and take notes of all those important details. I have some little notes here that remind me of what I was working on today. And I also write in the notebook a shopping list. If I need to go to a hardware store, go online and look for some pieces, parts like new kiln shelves, the gas forge, I better write that down. Kiln shelves. Otherwise, I'll forget to order them tonight, and I ought to do that. I also have several pages of all of the stuff that I've got to do in the next few weeks, or the way it really turns out, about the next 2 or 3 months. But it's written down so I can refer to it. I can look at that and say, well, I'm making a set of fireplace tools today. Do I need to work on another set? Oh, look, 4 orders down, there's another set. I better start both of them at the same time, and that would be more efficient. But there's lots more that you should write down. I take notebooks like this to all of the conferences that I go to, and it has notes from what conference it was, who was demonstrating, what they were demonstrating. This is from the 2002 Rocky Mountain Blacksmiths Conference with Lorelei Sims demonstrating, and I have notes on her demonstration. I would never remember what she demonstrated without having this notebook. Some of these just have odd notes in them that I just haven't gotten rid of. And it can get a little confusing, so it does help if you have a place to file this stuff. That one's from 2008, but just sometimes I recycle them, sometimes I get to the conference and realize I didn't have one, so I go buy another one. And this stuff is really handy to have written down. You may not ever refer to it, but if you ever want to, if somebody ever says, do you remember what Dan Nauman did in 2007? Nah, but I've got it written down. I was there. I took notes. I took sketches of the tools. My wife Janet doesn't get into the shop very more. She's too busy weaving to take blacksmithing very seriously. But these are some notes that she took on a project that she was working on. And she's got the detail of what the tools need to look like, what the piece they're forging looks like. See if I can move my fingers out of the way there. Very detailed instructions. If she wanted to come back in the shop, this was 10 years ago probably she took those notes, she could reproduce the same tools and the same piece because she took the notes. But there's other stuff you should write down in the shop. Sometimes just keeping a list of the things you need to make for the day is handy, and you can just scribble that right on your forge hood. And hopefully you can read your own scribbles. Do you want to remember what kind of tool steel you were working with? Or you want to find another piece of that 4140 you were using? You know, if you write it down, it's a lot easier to remember what it is. The 5160 and the W1 and the 4140 all start to look pretty much the same after they've been sitting piled up in the corner of the shop for a while. Do you like to use some of the classical proportions in your work, like the golden mean ratio? I can never remember what that is, but it's something that I found myself looking up quite often. So I wrote it on the wall. Currently, I've got about 65 orders on the books. I can't remember what everybody wants. I keep these index cards with person's name, date they ordered, what they ordered, and any important notes. If they send me an email or phone call and say, oh, I want to make a change, I want to do this, I want to do that, or new shipping address because it's been so long, I write it on the card. That way I have the notes, and this is what I refer to when I'm in the shop working on the order. My notebook tells me what's coming up, so I don't have to thumb through the cards all the time. And I keep the notebook in the house and the cards in the shop, so I can refer to the notebook to kind of plan my day out before I come to the shop. But by keeping the cards and writing it down, it really helps limit some of the confusion trying to keep track of all these orders. It wasn't that bad before I hurt my finger, but I got really behind for 2 months not being able to work in the shop. When I worked as a firefighter, it was often said if you didn't document it, it didn't happen. Meaning if it was important, you had better write it down. And that still holds true even in the blacksmith shop. And I'm a terrible record keeper. I don't like taking notes. My penmanship isn't very good, but it's necessary. Write this stuff down. If there's something in these videos that you want to be able to remember in the shop, keep a notebook while you're watching the videos or other people's videos and take notes on the videos. You can pause the video while you write down, oh, he used 5/8 square bar and it was 24 inches long, and then you can start the video up again and see what the next step is. It's a lot easier than trying to take your laptop to the shop and watch the video while you're working on stuff, because that's a good way to ruin your laptop. So I strongly encourage you, keep a notebook, keep a pen, pencil, whatever it takes. Take notes of what you're doing in the shop, take notes of what you need to do, take notes of tools you need to make, materials you need to buy. Just whatever comes in your mind while you're in the shop, write it down, and you'll be better off in the long run, especially as you get older, because I forget stuff. Why are we making this video? Oh yeah, write it down. Well, I hope that does you some good. Just a quick tip for the day. Head out to the shop now, make something, write down what you did, and wear your safety glasses. Thanks.